Cool.
Hare Krishna, this is Navneet and I welcome you to Vyasa Astro channel. Today we have a very special guest, Babaji ji with us. He's a true friend and a beautiful soul and a very, very learned astrologer. When we were together, we've learned so many things, we've discussed so many things. Babaji ji, it's an honor to have you on my channel, Prabhuji. And what should be discussing today? It's all yours.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this gracious invitation. And yeah, it's always a pleasure to interact with you, either via phone or Zoom or live or whatever. So thank you for this invitation to your channel. So today I was thinking we can discuss a bit on marriage compatibility using the three most prominent occult sciences of astrology and numerology and a bit of palmistry and prashna at the end. So, if you are watching this video and you are a newcomer in astrology, then don't worry, you don't have to run away and think it's too complex. I've made it very simple. Anybody, you are a beginner or you are advanced level or you are very advanced, you have spent, even if you have spent 3 to 6 months in astrology, you can understand this and you can get an idea. Of course, this is not the end, but this is like a starting. This will give you a good direction in regards to how should you approach marriage compatibility. And yes, I have prepared a slide, and if you permit, I'll share the screen.
Screen is all yours, and I'm very
Okay.
excited.
Okay, so I will share the screen. All right, is the screen visible?
Yes, it is visible.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this exceptionally good and bad marriage compatibility class. So here I have around 18 or 19 examples to show you how to see, if the marriage compatibility will be good, bad, excellent, match made in heaven, or not good or worst. Okay, so you will find examples from all ranges of the spectrum so that you can know should you proceed ahead with somebody, or even if you are an astrologer, what input should you give to the client. All right, but before I begin, I go to the slides. I would like to share one thing is, if you are an astrologer and if somebody is asking you that, if a boy is asking you, I have these charts of two, three girls, whom should I marry? So I suggest you tell the pros and cons of marrying each of the individual people, and you leave the decision up to them. So your decision as an astrologer is to tell them how your life will be if you marry this person or that person, but your role should not be to tell them that yes, you should go and marry this person unless you see some exceptionally good things. All right, so the first slide, we should know the difference between modern day marriage and vivaha. So marriage, as we know today, has become quite polluted sometimes. It has just become like a contract, where people are staying for some years. Nowadays, even they are not staying till the end of their life. They are just staying, or even if they are staying, but people are not aware of what actually marriage is. So, if you see in our Vedic culture, the term that is used is not marriage or shadi or something like that. It is vivaha basically. So vivaha is basically vahan. Vahan is like a vehicle to go towards Hari basically. Hari is Lord Vishnu, is Krishna. So vivaha is basically a means to approach God basically, which is through the grihastha ashram. As we know in our Vedic culture, there are four ashrams, like till the age of 25 a person is, brahmachari, celibate. Then from 25 to 50 the person is a grihastha, where the person gets married and then he has children, and then from 50 he takes vanaprastha and then he takes sannyas eventually. But nonetheless, we need to understand that the ultimate goal of marriage is actually not just materialistic stability or pleasure or enjoyment. It is actually, along with all this, it is to go close to God and to obtain spiritual perfection. So that's like the goal of marriage. And within marriage in astrology, we have, most importantly, we have five houses. We have the second house, which is the house of family. This includes your parents, your in-laws, your relatives, your in-laws, relatives, everybody. And seventh house is literally your interactions with your spouse. It's not your lagna of the spouse, but it is your interactions with the spouse. And then we have the fifth house. Fifth house is the house of children, which is one of the most important purposes of married life, is to continue the progeny, that children are like the fruit of the marriage. That is why the fifth house is very important. And then we have the ninth house, which is the house of dharma. Dharma is basically our duty and our true nature, basically. And of course, nonetheless, 11th house. 11th house is the house of Lavastan. It's the house of gains. So if you see all the five houses, maybe something is coming into your mind, which is, almost for all the houses, there's one karak, which is Jupiter, basically.
Yes, yes, yes,
So,
yes.
so many people think, oh, they just need to see Venus, what Venus is doing in the chart, but they forget this one planet, or they will say, no, no, Jupiter is only important for women, because he's the Karaka for husband, but for men, it's not important. But then I'm like, no, he is, he was, and he will be the most important planet for any gender. All right. So please check Venus, please check second house, fifth house, seventh house, ninth house, 11th house, and also check the most important planet, that is Jupiter. Now, this is the Lagna chart, and then we have the D9 chart. The Lagna chart tells us which sign a planet is placed in, and the Bhavachalit chart tells us which house a planet is placed in. And the D9 chart, there's this confusion about D9. Some say it is the chart of spirituality, some say it is the chart of our spouse, or they say it's the how chart of spirit of God or something like that. So what is it basically? So the D9 is the chart which tells us who we are when we are alone, when there is nobody around us. So that is why in ancient India, traditionally, along with the D1, they would always check the D9 for marriage. Now, when you hear this, you think, oh, actually, that means D9 governs our marriage. No, it does not literally govern your marriage, but D9 tells you who you are when you are alone, and who are the two people who knows you when you are alone. One is your spouse, the other one is God, Paramatma, as he's sitting inside your heart. So that is why the D9 is a chart where there is no filter, which means who you are inside and outside, in your own self, when you are peaceful and you are just lying down, then that is who you are. Therefore, the D9 chart is very important. Now, in this talk, we have a lot of things specifically to numerology and some palmistry, as I said. But what we need to understand primarily, this presentation is not about longevity of your married life. So, for example, you will see there are so many examples which I have put for compatibility, but always understand that even if you are 100% compatible, it does not mean you will have a long-term marriage, because somehow in your dashas, your sixth house or 10th house, or sometimes your eighth house or 12th house, some difficult house gets activated, and then there could be separation at times. Okay, so whenever you use this presentation to judge compatibility, before you go into all this, please remember, please check the Lagna chart of the boy and the girl, and also the D9. So in short, before you understand this, the things we'll discuss, you need to understand that a person has to have decent, good, may not be great, but decent, good karma for married life. Only then the other things matter. If a person does not have a great longevity for marriage, maybe all of these things will not matter much. Okay, but let's assume you have seen the chart of the boy and the girl. Things are decent, good enough, and now you are wondering, should this boy and girl get married? Okay, so how will you approach this now? Now, these combinations you can also use for compatibility with your children, with your friends, business partners, with any other human being. It has nothing to do with boy or girl. Okay, so you can use this for all the 7 billion human beings. This will help you everywhere. In fact, this will also help you to decide what kind of gifts you should give to somebody.
Oh, very nice.
All right. So now we go to numerology, but you can also use this for astrology. So in numerology, there are primarily two groups. One group is the number group of 3, 7, and 9. So as you know, in numerology, number 3 is Jupiter. So what is Jupiter? Jupiter is learning, it is our commitment to dharma, it is spirituality, seeking the divine. Number 7 is the number of luck. It is to be thoughtful. It shows, exploration, deep exploration, introspection, and it is also the number of research. And number 9 is the number of Mars. It is, doing tapasya, penance, brahmacharya, celibacy, and doing rituals like fire yagyas and all this. So these three numbers are primarily the numbers of spirituality or doing something beyond matter in life, okay? Which is like Jupiter, Mars, and Ketu. And then we have the other group, which is a group which shows more of the materialistic side of the world, which is number 5. Number 5 is the number for Mercury. So as we know, Mercury is the Karaka for 10th house. So he shows money. Mercury is very calculative because he gets exalted in Virgo. And then he's a bit cold nature sometimes.
Yes.
And yes. So then we have number 4, which is the number of Rahu, and Rahu is the spendthrift. All right. So Rahu shows expenditure, he shows troubles, he shows litigation and all this, but specifically in numerology, number 4 can show expenditure, trouble, litigation, and all this more the so. And then 6 is the classic number of Venus, and nobody needs to tell us what Venus is. Venus is luxury, sensuality, and in numerology, specifically, Venus shows number 6 in numerology shows a person who is very brand conscious. Now, you may be wondering what are all these numbers? I'll exactly tell you how to judge this and how to use this for compatibility. And then we have two things. One is the basic number, which is the total of the day. So somebody is born on 23rd. So the basic number is 5. And the destiny number is the combination of the entire DOB. So 4th January 1992, you add everything, it will come to 8. So these two numbers are also very important. And whenever we are doing individual calculations of numerology, then we always exclude the first two digits of the year. So for example, now when we do the slides, you will see, I will tell you if somebody has the number 1 and 9. But now you may think everybody who is watching this presentation is born in the 1900s, right? So everybody will have 1 and 9. No, it's not like that. So if you are born in the 1900s, which 95% of the people will be, so don't include that. And if you are born in 2000s, then don't include 2 and 0. Everything else can be included. All right. Now, excellent compatibility. So if in your date of birth, you have, so suppose both the boy and the girl, they have either 3, 7, and 9, all the three numbers, or they have 3 or 7 or 3 or 9 or 7 or 9, then what will happen is both the couples will be extremely spiritual and they will be like Lakshmi Narayan basically. So for example, if somebody is born on 3rd of July 1991, so here you see 3 is there, 7 is there, 9, and the other one is born on 8th July 1993. So again you see, so 3, 7, and 9 are numbers of spirituality, and if all the three numbers are there, or at least two of the numbers are there, then the couple is very spiritual by default. They like to do a lot of spiritual activities. And whoever is into occult sciences, astrology, or spirituality, or doing too many mantras, you will see. I mean, I can bet $1 million they will have at least one of the two numbers. One of the three numbers. It cannot happen that somebody who is into spiritual path is not having any one of the three numbers. Now, this you can also use in astrology. This is not just for numerology. So, for example, in astrology, if your Guru, Ketu, or Mangal is in Lagna, then this can give similar flavors. Okay. But either ways, even you can see any example like Srila Prabhupada's example, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, he has, if you add his date of birth, it is 7. Then, Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev, he also has, the number 3 and the number 7. So you will always see that people who are into spiritual sciences have this. So now if both of them have this, then what happens is they have a very common element, which is, like they both want to connect to God. So then there's not much clutter in their life. They are okay with doing spiritual practices daily in the morning or in the evening or in the weekends. So they have a lifestyle compatibility, and this is just brilliant. Now we will see the other extreme. So now, if suppose both the parties don't have any of these numbers, then also they will have very good compatibility, because they are both of them are least interested in spiritual life. So both of them will like to go to shopping, they'll watch TV, Netflix, YouTube the whole day, and they'll just spend the 30, 40 years of their life. So you will think, oh, but how are how are they so happy? Well, at least temporarily till their life is good, as Krishna says in the Gita, the material world is a place of misery. Till the time there is no misery, you will see they are like, match made in heaven. They'll be very happy. Okay. But this is very dangerous, because there is no spiritual angle in in the life of these two people. And anytime, the Dusthana houses get activated, their life will become very difficult, because they have no other shelter basically. So if the man is born on like 2nd of May 1986, so you see they don't have 3, 7 or 9, or the lady is born, 4th January 1981. All right. So this is again excellent for compatibility. Now, this is the case number three is a good compatibility, but not a best one. So suppose the man has 3, 7, and 9, or any two numbers like 3, 7, 3, 9, 7, 9, and the wife has only one. So the wife has 3 or 7 or 9, or it could be the other way around. The husband has only one of them. So then the couple has good, decent enough interest in spiritual life, so they are a bit materialistic, bit spiritual, and they have some area. So if both of them have three, then they will like to, read some scriptures together sometime. So they will have some decent level of compatibility and some good lifestyle bonding, but not the best, because one of them who has more of 379, they will feel a bit, like left out spiritually sometimes. But this is still good enough. So if you see a chart where a man is born on 12 July 1991, and the lady has 7 in her date of birth, so you can, if you see the overall D1 D9 for both of them, and you feel that it is decent good, then you can say, and if the dashas are good, you can say, yes, you may go ahead, but you have to tell to the man that, maybe your wife will not be too much interested in spirituality, but will support you, once a month she will come to the temple or something like that. Okay. It will be okay, but not the best. Okay. Then we have bad compatibility. And this is very bad. This should be avoided, which means one of them have 3, 7, and 9, or 3, 7, 3, 9, 7, 9, which means one of them is very interested in spiritual life, and the other one has none of these. So if you see the date of birth of the lady, you will see 8 June 1985. So then what happens is, the man will feel that he has to focus on spiritual life, and the lady will not be interested. She will be interested in shopping, Instagram, and all this. It could be other way around also. So then both of them will suffer, because the man will feel, his spiritual goals are not met. He's not able to grow with her. He's doing everything alone. And the lady will feel, oh, look at that husband, that husband has gifted her, friend's husband has gifted home, car, Louis Vuitton, Gucci bag, and all this. And this, look at my husband, he's not giving me anything. All right. So this can be significantly difficult. And I have seen this in many, many, many charts where one of them is into spiritual practices and the other is completely not. Now, this is on the bad side, but this is very good again for compatibility, like case number two, where both of them have these numbers like 5, 6, and 7, and 5, 6, and 4. So what happens is, both are not interested in spirituality, but both are very much interested in material life. So these are those typical couples without 379 and 564, where they have, double income, they will have no kids because kids are an obstruction to their life. They are known as DIINK, double income, no kids. Okay. They will have like two jobs, three, four jobs sometimes, like 8 hours job, then they will have second job, and every third week they'll take a travel to some place, and every quarterly they will take a tour to Europe or some place like that. It's like that fancy glam couple, without children, or they won't take much responsibility of their parents, but they are very compatible. Again, I mean, excellent, right? But very
Wow.
dangerous again, because if the Dustana houses get activated, they have no shelter basically. So dangerous, but very good compatibility. Then this is match made in heaven. Match made in heaven. Look at this date of birth, 15. I mean, this is one couple, I literally know them. 15 November 1985, 14 June 1986. Match made in heaven. It's like they don't have 379. None of them have either one of those numbers. And both of them have 564. Everything is together. So for the lady, if you see 14, so the basic number is 5. So 4 is there, 5 is there, 6 is there. And for the man, 5 is there. And if you add the entire date of birth, it will go to 4. And his basic number 15 is 6 again. So this couple is like considerably very materialistic, and even if God, Krishna, Ram, Shiva, whoever personally comes in front of them and personally they recite the Vedas or the Gita, they will be like they're like blind, they cannot understand, because somehow from past lifetimes that cultivation has not been there. So they'll feel this is not required basically, because 379 is not there, nor is Jupiter or Sun or Ketu or Mars prominent in their chart. Mercury, Venus, Rahu, they are very prominent. So this couple will be extremely materialistic, and any attempt to preach about spirituality to them will fall in deaf ears. So do not waste your time. And then the other way around, they have 3, 7, and 9, but without any of the Rajasic numbers, 5, 4, 6. This is also match made in heaven. This is like, Yudhishthir Maharaj, Draupadi, Sita Ram, Lakshmi Narayan, like Shiva, Parvati, like that. They are extremely spiritual. They have nothing to do with the material world. Even if they have sexual indulgence, they will only have it for procreating children, and not otherwise. They are very dharmic. They would want to dedicate their life to God, and they want to spread the message of God, and that is why they are living in this world. And they don't see each other as partners or married couples. They see each other as spiritually connected beings. So these are people who are connected at a soul level, and they most likely carry on with each other in their next lifetime, in their next birth also. So many times in India, when people say this, we live together for 7 lifetimes. हमारा 7 जन्मों का साथ है. People take it very superficially sometimes, but this is like the ideal situation. Of course, there are not many people in this category, but this is like so extremely ideal that you will be connected to your spouse even in your next lifetime, because you are connected at a soul level. You don't see each other as bodies or as mind. You see each other as a spiritual being. So you will be connected always. So this is hands down the best thing if you can have. If you don't have, it's okay. But if this is there, then it's very good. Then now we come to some average cases. We have all, worst case, best case. This is average case. So now number 8 is the number of Saturn. And Saturn shows, in numerology, he shows, philanthropy and, giving donations at times. So therefore, if a couple has 3, 7, or 9, and one of them and the other does not have any of this but has 8, so then what will happen is, maybe the wife has 8, but the husband has 3, 7, 9. So then what will happen is, the husband will want to do spiritual practice, but the wife will not. But the wife will say, I want to do some philanthropy, I want to do some They can do this, giving food distribution or something like that, or donating some money. So some good thing at least they can do. So if the other party does not have any of three or seven or nine, but at least has eight, then there will be some superficial, that materialistic social work will be there. Okay, so which is still okay. So it can, kind of balance it out. So maybe it is a classic case where uh, the couple is going to the temple and the lady is, distributing the food to the, to the people who have come to take prasad, and the man is, sitting in the lecture and he's hearing the Ramayana or something like that. Or it could be the other way around, the lady is sitting and the man is distributing. So this is like an average case. It can still work, but they will have different interests in the spiritual community. Now, this is very good compatibility. Both both have four or six or four, either ways. So if you have four or six, or either ways, you have one of them, like this example, like 4 July 1976, you can just have even one of them. Then both of them are, 4 and 6 makes you spend money basically, because they love. So whoever has four in their date of birth, they will always, if they spend too many days without making a purchase, they'll feel something is missing in their life. Same with number six, so if a husband has four and the wife has six, six is the luxury purchase, but four is, any kind of expense. You go outside, you eat some pani puri, or, some golgappa or something, like something, some money has to go out from the pocket basically. So then both love to spend money, and, both will do reasonably well basically. So this can also work, every weekend they may go out and, have food and all this, but again, this is a bit dangerous because this is purely materialistic, but from compatibility perspective, it is great. Now, this is with the numbers 4, 5, 6, but this is a worst case scenario. This combination should be, it's not recommended for people to get married with this. For example, if one person has 5 in their date of birth and the other person has 4 or 6 but no 5, this is very dangerous, because whoever has number 5 can be a bit miserly at times. I'm not saying that person is completely a miser, but can, a person with number 5 will always want to, save money, keep money with themselves. But if a person has 4 or 6, they love to spend money. And sometimes what happens, if a person is born like 5th of April, so they have 5 and 4, so they will spend money sometimes, they will save money sometimes, which is fine. But if a person has 4 or 6 but no 5, then the person has no interest in savings. Okay, and then this person with 5 always wants to save money. So then this can be a terrible conflict where they are always fighting about, who will save the money, who will, the husband may say to the wife, why are you spending so much money? This is not good, we can't sustain like this. And eventually, if you see the statistics also, like, money is one of the most important causes for divorce, at least in the West, and now also in India it is becoming like that. So there also, you will see that this creates serious issues. But here is one exception. If suppose the man has 5 and the lady has 4, 6 without 5, but in the lady's horoscope, if she has a prominent Artha Trikon, which means she has many planets in the 6th, 10th, or 11th, then she will still want to invest and grow money, but she will still be a spendthrift. Okay, but that can still be balanced. So when I'm saying that this in this case they should not marry, so don't just see the DOB, also see the horoscope, and then you should give a verdict. Now, case number 11, good compatibility, where they have some compensating numbers, like, if somebody has 6 or 4 and the other has 2 or 8, then they will be materialistic. This is like a typical, what you say, no, Aam Aadmi.
Yeah.
They're like a bit materialistic. They spend money sometimes, they go here, there, once a year they travel. It's like the typical mango man. Aam Aadmi situation. So this is like, okay, but you have to see the overall things. But this is in general okay. You can go ahead with this. Now, Sometimes you have balancing numbers which can still be good for compatibility. Suppose a man has the number 1 and number 2 or number 6, and the lady has 2 and 5 or 9. So then what happens is the couple is materialistic because the man has 2 or 6. So they like, the man wants to spend money, but because of number 1, he also likes to save money. And the lady likes to spend money because of 2, but also likes to save. Okay, 5 is there, 9 is there. So this is a couple who will have a bit above middle class life, because they will save money, they will also enjoy, but they will also invest, so these people, because of 1 and 5, they will be, investing in, like, mid that, not like the blue chip stocks, they will invest in some stocks which can give you better return, maybe 20-25% a yearly return, not that Nifty and Sensex with 12-13-15% return. So they will be very materialistic, but they can also grow their money. So this is also good for compatibility. So 70% they will save their money, and 20-30% they will enjoy. So this is like, I won't say affluent, but upper middle class scenario. Okay. So we can also do the gradation, how, which class
Yeah.
somebody couple can be. So for example, if there are two charts, if there's a boy and girl, they are asking that, we are 28 and we want to marry. So they're asking you in a career consultation that, where do you see our life 10 years from now? Now we are middle class, we have, job which pays us 10 lakhs a year, and then what do you see, how do you see our life? So in their chart, if their D10 is good and their lagna and the 10th house is strong, and they have these date of births, then you can tell them that by the time you are 40-45, you will have a above average life, so you will be in a better position than you are now. You are middle class, you will be upper middle class now, after 15 years. Okay, so that is how you can also use this for career consultation, not just marriage compatibility.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yes, then we have good compatibility. This is a bit painful, but this is what it is. This is this is if both of them have trouble numbers. So what are trouble numbers? In numerology, 8 and 4 are the most difficult numbers. Whoever has 8 and 4 combined in their date of birth, like somebody is born on, 4th of August or 8th of April or anything it could be, then they will have difficult lives. Now, when I say difficult lives, it does not mean that they will not have anything good in their life, but these people will have such problems which normally people will not have. For example, they might lose their mother or father in a young age, or some family member sometimes, or they may not have children, or they may not get married, or they may lose one of their, hand or leg in some accident. So they may have good things in life, but surely, for sure, 100%, they will have some problems by which when somebody sees them, they will say, oh, this person is a bit, life is a bit unfair to them. So now what happens is, if both of them have this, then what happens? So then both of them understand that life is difficult. They will really understand when they hear this sloka, na dukhalayam ashashvatam. They will hear and they will like, yes, it's correct. Because both of them have some problem. One does not have mother and one does not have father. Maybe something like this. So then they can sympathize well with each other. They can understand. They have less expectations from each other. Otherwise, imagine a person will see that example also. If a person has very great life and the other has a very difficult life, then the one who has the difficult life will always be in problem, and
Yeah.
that can create problems. So this combination is good because they will have a very decent average level marriage, and they will understand, that life is not fair to everybody, and certainly not to themselves. So they won't complain much, so whoever has 8 and 4, and you will always see they won't complain. They are very happy with small things, because sometimes life has not even given them, bits to be happy. So if they have a good partner, decent, they are very happy. So this can be a good thing for compatibility. Then there are two numbers which are a bit different but also similar. Like this is Rahu and Ketu, 4 and 7. So in numerology, what happens? Both of them, both are completely opposite in one sense. One represents material life, number 4, another is 7, which shows spirituality. But they have two common elements, which is they love to travel and do research. So whoever has 4 and 7 in their date of birth, both of them, both the numbers, if you have, you will always see there, something or the other they are doing some research, they are studying, or they are going to technology, they are digging the ground and pulling out information, and they are very good detectives, you will always see. Now this the open AI who has built chat gpt, the chairman, not chairman, CEO Sam Altman, if you add his date of birth, it comes to 4. Then if you see Indian military, we had the only field marshal, Mr. Sam Manekshaw. If you add his date of birth, it will also come to 4. The current national security advisor, Mr. Ajit Doval Saab, very famous. He was a spy in Pakistan. If you add his date of birth, it will again come to 4. These people are extreme risk takers. Number 7 destiny, like Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 69, he took risk and went to the US, and he spread the Krishna consciousness movement. These people are extremely high risk takers and they don't fear anybody. Okay. So if both the people marry, of course, one will be very spiritual, the other will be very materialistic, but there will be some common elements where some of them will like to, well, they would like to do travels, so you can go to Tirth Yatra together, or you can go to mountain climbing together, and you can do research. So this is very good, although these are contrary numbers, but they have two common elements. So whoever has these two, understand that you can do very good in these two areas, like travel and research. So do things together there. And the materialistic side and the spiritual side, leave each other alone. Be happy in their own worlds, and you will be fine. Number 5, this is this is a very difficult comment. This is the one which I was telling you that time, where a person does not have any difficult number, like 2, 6, 4, or 8, and the other one has 8 and 4. My God, this is a disaster, because one person is always in trouble. And the other person is never in trouble, so he or she will feel drained out. Because the other person will be, why the hell did I marry this person? My life is going down. I am always in trouble. Before marriage, I was so fine. But after marriage, only thing is happening is, I am going to hospital. I am having court cases. I am getting challan, someone from the government, this, that, all this is happening. So this is not necessarily a bad combination for compatibility, but this is a difficulty for longevity of marriage, because and then what happens is, the person who does not have 8 and 4, if somehow the horoscope is not good and they find somebody else who have, who has a good chart, or, good numbers, then they will feel, oh, maybe I should get married to this person, and they might have an affair, unfortunately. And they may leave the person who, their spouse, who has these difficult numbers, which is unfortunate. But this is how it can be. So one person will always feel troubled, and therefore this can create problems in the longevity. So this is something which you might have to watch out. Then, great compatibility. So if you add your date of birth, and one person is a destiny number 3 and the other is 7, thumbs up, great. Or one is 7, other is 9, one is 3, other one is 9, then it is very good, because they would love to focus on spiritual things, and they will actually feel very good with each other at some level, of course, and subject to the fact you see their D1 and D9. Yes, so now great compatibility. So if their destiny number is either 2 or 6, for one it is 2, 6, another it is 4. Because suppose, one person is a destiny 4, he loves to spend money, and the other is destiny 6, he loves to buy luxury. So it's like, match made in heaven. They're like, you go to their house, it will be, full of, like there was one example I know in India, in Assam. There's one couple who has this. So you go to their house, you will find, Greek Bohemian furniture there, which you will never find anywhere. They've imported it from, Greece and, ancient day Bohemia and all this. So, and they're very happy. Now, apart from this, we have the palmistry. So, in this, we have, the combination of a person who has a very long thumb and who has a short but not too short, relatively shorter, because the length of the thumb in palmistry is a indicator of the amount of leadership the person will have. Now you may be wondering, the viewer, that how do we decide if a thumb is long or short? So I have that in the next photo, then you will understand. So if you see, this is Prime Minister Modi ji and Arvind Kejriwal ji. So both are very successful in their own respective professions. So, and both are not from the Congress. This is for the Congress. So if you
Right?
see, yes, yes.
Yeah,
So if you see, if I zoom in here, you see the tip of the thumb is almost touching this first phalanx of the Jupiter finger here. If you see this, then this means the thumb is exceptionally long. And that is true because this person has been extremely successful. And then if you go to Kejriwal ji's case, even then, if you try to, if you assume his hand was like together, like this together, you will see that it almost touches this phalanx, but not completely, but it almost touches. So now what happens is, if the husband and the wife, they both have an extremely long thumb, then both are like, no, my way or highway.
I have a very small one. I don't have. It's not even touching. Just actually, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that. So no, no highway, no my way. It's all the way.
And if you see both of their cases, if you
Yeah,
see in the BJP or you see Aam Aadmi Party, for a moment, whoever is aware of Indian politics, just remove these two leaders.
yeah,
Now, just imagine tomorrow there is election and Modi ji is not there. Imagine he's not there or he's not fighting. How many seats will BJP get? Maybe 100, maximum.
correct.
Imagine tomorrow, in when Delhi election is coming, Aam Aadmi Party is fighting. There is no Kejriwal. How many seats will they get, right?
It's over. Yeah,
So you can see how this is manifesting in their party. It's like, Modi ji, he's the prime minister, he's home minister, he's finance minister. I don't know why they're even hiring other ministers. I mean, it's the thing is there, that, he's like all that centralization and he's the main man, who is running. Same thing is in Delhi, so you can see this will manifest in their house, and if this is manifesting in the entire country, India, or in entire Delhi, where these two people are ruling, can you imagine what is the situation in their house? I mean, who would dare to even say anything against them in their house? What to speak of, if it is outside of your house. So now, if both the husband and the wife have a very long thumb, then they can't stay together because they are like, it's like, both of them are like Leo, they are very strong, and nobody listens. So one should have a long thumb, and the other should have a relatively lesser length, the thumb. Then one can be follower, one can be, the leader. So then the compatibility is good, and otherwise, there is trouble. But this is very good, long versus shorter thumb, very good. And then, of course, at the end, we should not forget this. When the client is asking you, suppose a boy is asking you, should I marry this girl? So then you are, seeing the D1, D9, and you are seeing this, all the combinations. But you see there is something wrong in the Prashna chart. Then maybe there could be many issues, like, it could be that the birth time of one of them is wrong. This could be one of the
correct.
reasons, or it could be that they have intentionally given it wrong, because
Yes,
sometimes people, they know that they have some bad combinations, and astrologers are aware, so they will very cunningly, they will make it into they will change the lagna by 4 5 hours, where they have all the nice planets in the seventh house. Because 90% of the astrologers, if they see a malefic, I mean those who are online or offline, who are not like really astrologers, but they just present as astrologers, they will say,
Correct.
oh, Shani in seventh, no marriage, go, don't go, dismissed. So then
Correct.
they know, oh, if I give this time, it's gone. But that is the beauty of astrology. I mean, astrologer can be wrong, astrology can never be wrong.
Yeah. And you know
So,
what? There's just a small point that I want to add here is
yeah, yeah.
it's a, you talked about Saturn in the seventh house. I mean, all the viewers, if you have Saturn in the seventh house of your Navamsha chart,
Okay.
okay, one thing is guaranteed. I can write it, sign it, and give it to you on your hand that this will happen. Is that your in-laws are going to give you tons of respect.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right? Anyone who has Saturn in the seventh house in the Navamsha,
Oh,
right, he or she is going to get so much respect in the extended family,
okay.
no matter what. I mean,
Okay.
you can have a very bad compatibility with your spouse,
Yeah.
but your mother-in-law or your father-in-law are going to treat you like your own son or like your own daughter. That is guaranteed.
Wow.
Right. So that's what he's saying. People who pretend to be astrologers looking at Saturn in the seventh house in the D1 or in the D9 straight away dismissed is where I've
Yeah.
seen. And that those person have come to me, is it Navneet sir? My father-in-law is so friendly to me and he takes my side all the time. And people are saying, hey, Navamsha, seventh house, Saturn, not good. So this is where you have to learn actual Jyotish, right? You have to understand one thing which is very, very important is that Saturn is one planet that you have to keep happy in life,
Oh, I see.
right? No matter whatever yogas you're running, right? You see, one thing that all the classics say is that you have to do the karma.
Yes, always.
So, be it your job, be it your marriage, be it your progeny, right? It is all karma oriented, right? If you do not perform in your marriage or in your progeny or at your work, right, you are actually disappointing Saturn,
Okay, correct.
right? So having Saturn with 100% directional strength
Hmm.
in Navamsha, right, will make your marriage wonderful.
Oh, nice. Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, he's in Digbal, of course. It has to be there. I mean, that's very true. And this is the beauty of astrology. Like, we have so many techniques. We have Jaimini Dashas, we have Parashara, and, we have Nadi astrology, we have KP. Whichever system you are using, I always tell people, or at least use two systems and confirm what you are seeing. Just
Yeah,
don't say, oh, Jaimini is saying, Dara Karaka is active, you will get married. It doesn't happen many times. Don't say seventh lord is active, you will get married. Many times it does not happen. So if you use two systems, and at least in astrology two systems, then you use prashna and you use numerology if possible, then at least 80 to 90% of your times, your prediction will be correct. You may go wrong on some details, but overall the crux of the matter will be predicted correctly. So for example,
right.
if you say you will get job when your dasha is active, so that will be correct. It may vary. You may get the job in April, I said it is in May or June, or you get in July. But that dasha will be good or bad, that you can always confirm. And Prashna is very interesting because Prashna will actually tell you if somebody is speaking lies to you, somebody is speaking the truth, everything you can find if you can do Prashna properly. So whenever you are going to an astrologer, so as an astrologer, it's our duty to always check the prashna, and if the prashna has a very good seventh house, second house, 11th house, then we know that most likely they will get married if they have a good chart, both of them. And then you can say yes, you can proceed ahead. And at the end, of course, we have discussed the Ramayana, but we need to discuss about Ram and Lakshman.
And one small thing that I want to add is that when I do matchmakings, I always do the prashna,
Yeah.
right? And, you know, I come to know within, 1 second that the date of birth which is given is manipulated
Oh my
or
God.
is wrong or right is by just understanding one point in prashna. And
Okay.
that point is that when you're doing a prashna, if you have Rahu or Ketu in the Lagna,
Okay.
specifically if you have Rahu in the Lagna, in the Prashna,
Okay.
you understand, it's over.
Okay.
I would not reply that person
Okay.
because that karma is going to come on me because the Mother Nature said that, hey, Navneet, there is something wrong here. This is something
Oh,
which is deceiving. The Prashna, the Lagna of the Prashna says that you are going to do a matchmaking of a couple where one of them is deceptive.
okay. Okay.
And I would not answer them. I would say, okay, up to you. These are the pros and the cons. That, as you said in the beginning, that
Yeah.
I would just tell them this is right, this is wrong, and then I leave it to them.
Yeah, there it is their karma. We get no share of it.
Their karma, because I know one of them is cheating.
Ah, okay. Yeah, this is very true as you said, and I have seen, even if there are natural benefits in the Prashna's first house, but if they are afflicted, even then this can happen. I've seen like like one day where I was sitting here in Germany, I was just looking through the current time of the Prashna, and suddenly somebody sent me a mail in my inbox. I was in my laptop, and when I opened the mail, I saw. In the Prashna, there was Jupiter in the first house, Taurus Lagna, but it was, afflicted or there was some problem there. So the person sent me a mail, and in the mail, the person said, that I want to actually test you if you have knowledge. So I will, ask you a lot of questions during the consultation, but you cannot counter question me. So basically, I cannot ask him any question back, or I can't even confirm if my answer is right or wrong. So will you consult me in that case? So I said, thank you so much. If you take this as a competition or as a fight, then, or as a test or as an exam, then, well, maybe I'm not there for it. So make it human, like you ask me, I ask you. Like whenever I do consultations, the first question I ask to people, they always get shocked. I always ask them, tell me about yourself. So then they are shocked. Sometimes they hear this, they say, oh, I should tell you about myself. I thought the chart is speaking. And then I tell them that, see, the chart speaks, but until you tell me who you are as a person, and then if I see what is there in the chart, then I can see how both are matching. So sometimes people say, what career should I go on? So then if I see, suppose there is Sun or Mars in the 10th house. Now, Sun, Mars in the 10th house can have a million meanings. But if the person is telling me I want to go to sports or I want to go to government, then I can kind of narrow down. But if you give me no inputs, if you tell me, oh, I am blank, I have no idea of what is going on in my life, then for any astrologer, I think it is almost next to impossible to answer what you should be doing in life. So, and the same.
Exactly. Yeah, it is like going to a doctor and just sitting in front of the doctor and telling him, do not do any tests. Okay, just tell me what is wrong with me. Okay, is it the problem in my stomach or in my neck, or it is in my head, or it is my heart is paining, or maybe I am having some XYZ problem. And if you don't tell me, you're not a doctor.
I think the doctor should say the problem is surely in your head.
That is very. But you know what? I think to be on the serious note, Babaji ji, an astrologer should, give his test, right? And if there's one person who would want to test me, is only my guru,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? From where I've learned. I mean, any day, I would love to give him my test,
Hmm.
right?
Correct.
But nobody else.
Okay. Yes, yes.
But nobody else. So it is not that we are not ready for the test.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes.
But if the only person who is eligible to test any good astrologer is his guru,
Correct, correct,
and
correct.
once he passes you, that Babaji, you are good, Navneet, you are good, then no person in this world has right to test you.
Wow, brilliant. It's like if you got the degree, then nobody can ask you, have you
You
passed
got the
last time?
degree,
Yeah.
so nobody can challenge you.
Correct, correct, correct. Yeah, this is brilliant what you said. I mean, who can test Arjuna? Only Dronacharya can, right? Nobody else. So this is the last slide, and here at the end, as I said in the beginning, I'll just reiterate: if all the factors that we discussed is not there, there are some good, some bad, incompatible situations. But if both of them have a good D1 and especially D9, then what happens is, even if they are extremely incompatible, then they are ready to make adjustments and compromise to a large extent, because they are human basically. Good D9 makes you a good human. That is all, nothing more. So if you are a good human and you are a bit materialistic and the other person is spiritual, so even if you don't want to recite some shloka just to please your spouse, you will do it. Okay. So therefore, don't just see all the things that we discussed and don't ignore a good D1 and a good D9. A good D1 will tell you how your individual lives will be. If that is good enough and a D9 is good, you adjust properly, you can compromise, you can understand each other. Then even if you are not the best compatible, because nobody will be 100% compatible, don't even we should not even try to find that. Okay. Because I see many times people spend so much money on compatibility, but they don't see, how is that person's chart, because I always tell them that, suppose suddenly you close your eyes and you meet a person with whom you have to, do some task together. And then after doing the task, you are very compatible with each other. And after that, you come to know that this person was a criminal or a murderer or a terrorist. And if somebody asks you, would you like to do some other task with each other again? You will say no, right? Because even if you are compatible, you can be compatible with a terrorist or a monster or with anybody. You can be compatible to some extent, but you cannot get married to that person. So you need to see you. And also nowadays anyways, people are meeting, they're dating, and they're deciding. So meet the other person, look at their chart, look at the D1, D9 and their dashas. Most importantly, look at the prashna, and then you can always use all these combinations that we discussed to get the nature. How is the nature of the person? Is the person spiritually inclined or more materialistic? And see your nature also. And then at the end, you will be well informed to make a conscious decision, and take that decision and go ahead and get married. And even after that, if divine will is there, destiny is there, if it doesn't work, then maybe you don't continue, you get separated, you get divorced, that's fine. But I hope this gives you a good um, this gives you a good outlook towards how to see, how can you know if you will match with somebody or not. And yeah, with that I will just say Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath. And this is so brilliant. I mean, it is absolutely, fantastic. And you know what, Babaji ji, I've done more than 7,500, compatibility matchmakings in last 15 years of my career. And out of which, would you believe that around 30% I did not even match.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So suppose you come to me for the matchmaking, and I would say that Babaji ji, I don't like the girl's chart,
Okay.
and I don't want to go ahead with the matchmaking. And I will tell them that these are the 4 or 5 reasons, be it a character, be it a longevity, be it, the mental stability of that person. If you have a very stormy mind,
Yeah.
or if you have, you know, I mean, I was doing a compatibility last week, And I told this girl that you are going to be marrying an animal.
Oh,
An animal, right? And I would not like to match it. You still want me to match it? That's fine. I mean, but I don't like the chart, the individual chart at all.
okay.
You
Okay.
understand? That's the last point that you're telling me. Look at the individual chart, look at the dasha.
Yeah.
And I would tell some people that, hey, he's not going to keep you happy for next 10, 12 years, and then later on things will fine. So what about the initial 10, 12 years of your life? Right? So that is something that I've been keep telling my clients, and that see, if you come for matchmaking, I will only first analyze the individual chart, and
Yeah.
if the individual charts will pass, then I will go. Because for me, every male who is coming to me for compatibility is like my son.
Yeah.
And every girl who is coming to me, is like my daughter.
Correct.
Right? So I feel as if that, if it is my daughter, should I be marrying this person? Let me see the chart of the boy. And if I find two of these stupid yogas, I'll say, hey, I'm not going to match this for you. It's over.
Correct.
So that is the approach one astrologer should have, rather than, and you've done so beautifully the spirituality part and then the materialism. And I've never heard these things. I was calculating for me and my wife, and it is very good. I'll talk to you later on. And I was saying, wow, I'm so happy. While you were doing, I was just calculating with the figures. Okay, this is the number. This is the number. Oh, this is good. This is good. So, and the longevity of the marriage is good. And whatever you said was bang on. It was absolutely bang on.
Okay, good to know that.
Right? It is such a pleasure to have you. And I think we should make this, Babaji ji, a regular process. I would want to see you on my channel every 15 days or 10 days. And let's
Same
do,
with me
you
also.
know, this content, because this is amazing. This is absolutely fantastic.
Sure. Thank you so much. It was great to meet you after like long time. We did recording together quite some time back.
Yeah.
We recorded on this remedies, which where
Yeah.
you spoke, and I
Yeah.
just added something there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everybody just loved it. So many comments there. And yes, whoever is watching this, I'm sure I'm sure you watch Navneetji's channel regularly. And please tell us what would you like us to do together? Anything, any request you have, please pin it down, and then we will see how we can take it forward.
And ladies and gentlemen, it was pleasure to have Babaji ji on our channel, and I'm going to put a link of his website and his YouTube channel, and he also offer consultations. And trust me, I'm not good at numerology. That's not, but he's the one. And whatever he said, and I was doing it along for me and my wife, it was 100%. So it's a live testimony, right? So go and check with him. I recommend him highly. All right. Thank you, Babaji ji. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.